Hi folks! Last time on Born Again in Blue Water, we were enjoying the cruiser's paradise of Georgetown, Bahamas, and getting ready to start making our way back to the States. Georgetown was a difficult place to leave. It was truly beautiful, but eventually it was time to say goodbye to the dolphins, point the bow northward, and start the trek back home. On our way south, there had been a spot in the Exuma Land and Sea Park that we thought looked interesting. At the time, we had been a few days without cell service or internet, so we skipped it in order to get down to Staniel Cay, where we could get some current weather reports. We told ourselves we'd stop there on the way home if time permitted, and it did, so our destination now was the mooring field at Compass Cay. Now that we were heading toward home, our focus had shifted toward kids and grandkids, family and friends. That didn't stop us, however, from spending 4 days at Compass Cay. Partly because it was well protected and we were experiencing some high winds, and partly because it was really beautiful with many interesting spots to explore. And this is the Sea Aquarium, which looks absolutely beautiful. Obviously it's called an aquarium because there's tons of beautiful fish in here, so we're excited about it. We're going to jump in here and take you with us. Here we go.
In terms of snorkeling, the Sea Aquarium for me was the pinnacle of the whole voyage. I had become comfortable enough that my focus was no longer on trying not to panic or remembering to breathe normally. I was just able to relax and just soak in the beauty of the undersea world and all of its inhabitants. It was truly amazing. We'd been there a short time when I noticed a crunching sound. At first I thought it was my imagination, and then I realized that what I was actually hearing was the nearby parrotfish chomping on the rocks and coral from the reef. Parrotfish actually produce much of the sand on the seafloor and our beaches, and their diet consists of rocks and coral and comes out the other end as sand. Some species produce up to 200 pounds of sand every year. Russ was fortunate enough to capture this blue parrotfish actually secreting some sand. And here he is following a beautiful stoplight parrotfish through the reef.
On our way from the Sea Aquarium back to Born Again, we stopped by this underwater attraction. Supposedly, this plane belonged to Pablo Escobar, and it was loaded with drugs when it crashed here. Whether that's true or just a story to draw more tourists, I don't know. I can only tell you that I'm glad I wasn't aboard when it crashed. Normally, this isn't the sort of thing we even bother to go see. A wrecked airplane isn't very interesting above or below the water. But since it was on the way, we stopped for a quick look. You ready, Griffin?
Well, it'll be interesting if he makes it through. He might have to.
Here we go.
Having explored the area underneath the waterline, we decided to have a look around on shore. We dinghied to a beach a couple hundred yards from the boat and found this trail heading into the interior of the cay. It didn't take long to realize the path traversed the narrow aisle and led us to Bell Rock and the gorgeous Exuma Sound on the other side.
As always, Griffin had a wonderful time sniffing, exploring, swimming, and of course, chasing sticks. Are you ready? Look what we found. It's another, who knows what, some kind of sculptor. Amy will once again, Griffin. All right. I had a nagging urge to swim out and climb Bell Rock while we were there. But the rocks were sharp and I wasn't really dressed for it. In the end, good sense won out over my adventuresome spirit.
When we left Compass Cay, we headed for Nassau, making just a short overnight stop at Horseshoe Bay on Highborn Cay. We had lots of wind, so as you can see, we didn't even raise the main. The headsail and mizzen alone were moving us along at a brisk 7 knots.
Well, we are entering Nassau Harbor. And I'm not going to lie, I have equal parts,
Trepidation?
there goes my wife finishing my sentences for me again. Excitement and anxiety. I am excited to be here. I'm very excited that I'm going to get a blizzard from Dairy Queen within the next day or two.
Hour or two.
A little anxious about just how chaotic and busy it might be. This is by far the biggest port city we have come into.
Next thing it was 233,000 people living here, somewhere around there, which is twice the size of Peoria, Illinois.
So, yeah, but we're working our way in, and we'll be looking for a spot to anchor here before long, and hopefully it all goes well. We'll see.
Yep.
At our experience level as cruising sailors, we are still constantly doing things for the first time. And there's always some trepidation associated with that. But 9 times out of 10, it goes quite smoothly, such as it did with Nassau Harbor. Shortly after anchoring, we were treated to this group of young Bahamians having catboat races all around us. And of course, it didn't take Russ too long to find the Dairy Queen.
Nassau was a place we would like to have spent a few days, but as it was now mid-November, the weather windows for crossing back over the Gulf Stream were getting shorter and farther apart. There was a weather window open if we left within about the next 24 hours. After that, it got ugly, and it could be another 2 weeks before we got another opportunity to cross. With daughters, grandsons, parents, and all manner of loved ones on our minds, we made an appointment with Bahamian Immigration to clear out the following afternoon. By 1400 the next day, we were casting the lines, motoring under the 2 huge bridges to Treasure Island, and starting the 220 nautical mile voyage back to Marathon, Florida. On the journey, we saw a bit of nasty weather, 2 beautiful sunsets, and a cruise ship in the night. A little over 40 hours later, We were moored to a ball in Boot Key Harbor, where it all began 3 months earlier.
Join us next time as we journey north up the Florida Gulf Coast. We'll go through the Everglades, stop at Fort Myers Beach for several days, and then up to Charlotte Harbor, where we'll get born again hauled out and put on the hard for a while. Thanks for watching, everybody. Fair winds and following seas to you, and may God bless you all.